Parenting with knowledge that is relevant to modern society is a matter of concern to many parents because it is of great importance contributing to the success of the child. In the world, Jews are known to be the knowledgeable intellectual inhabitants. They view education as a top priority, and good parenting is a faith in the Bible. In recent years, the concept of raising children as Jews has been attracting the attention of Vietnamese parents. There are many books on Jewish parenting which are well received by Vietnamese parents. Nashon Lahav is an Israeli businessman. He has been working in Vietnam for 5 years. At the same time, he and his colleagues organize courses, sharing sections and discussions to spread the knowledge of parenting from the Jewish community to Vietnamese parents. He is a co-founder of the Jewish Education Group with more than 500 members. His knowledge has attracted parents and received many positive feedbacks from the community. Hello and welcome everyone to Sharing Vietnam on VT's Net Viet channel. Our guest today is Mr. Nashon Lahav. He has been doing business in Vietnam for 5 years and has organized a lot of activities and discussions to help Vietnamese parents to know about the way of training and educating the kids in Jewish education. Thank you, Mr. Lahav, for joining our program today. So may I ask that what do the ideas of transferring knowledge of Jewish education to Vietnamese people come from?
When I came here, and during my working period, I was exposed to the highly expectation from Jewish education. And I think Vietnam is very unique in that. And once you open the doors and allow people to come in and allow the Vietnamese people to go out, people saw there is so many things that are missing in life and they want to learn. They're very eager to learn. And I thought that the knowledge I have in Jewish education can be very useful here.
We all know that raising a child is a long-term process, but can you tell me some of the minor points for Vietnamese parents to pay attention to when we want to raise up a child?
Parents is the most important part in education, much more important than school, because the parents are the role models. The kids, from the moment they come into the world, they look at the parent. The parent for them is the whole world. And any way he behave, anything he do, they copy. It's like their mirror. If people tell me, my kids are always yelling, I said, how do you behave? Are you yelling in the house? Of course, they'll follow you. They look at you and they'll do the same. If you speak quietly and calm, they will be the same. So I talk about it quite a lot. Not because people are not smart, it's because people are so occupied with the modern way of life and they forget. They have a lot of pressure at work many hours. They have pressure in life because they always have to accomplish a few things at the same time. They have to create enough money to support the family, to support a higher education for the kids, to push the kids to achievements. So there is a lot of pressure in our life, in the modern life, and people tend to forget that they are the role model. I was asking a group of parents what they want for their kids. And I got many requests. I want my kid to be successful in school. I want my kid to behave nice. I want my kid to be very successful in business and so on. I look at them and I said, what you're asking is actually the roof of the building, but you have to start from the foundation. And once people start to understand what I'm talking about, it was more easy to work with parents.
What are the most important developing stage of a kid that we should pay much attention to? And can you please share much about that in details?
I think when they are young, from 0 maybe to 6, 7, this is the stage that is the most important because they accept and take into their way of thinking, the way to behave. And you actually molding them into a fine character in this stage. So I think this is the most important stage. This is the time that the parents have the most influence. And what they do in this time, they will harvest in the future. So I would always encourage people to treat them like adults. Of course, they come in a small version. They have no sense of responsibility. They have no fear. So they can do many mistakes. They don't have the experience that we have as adults. But if you treat them like this, they gain respect to you.
Mr. Nashon came to Vietnam with a shared mind. He suggested that sharing useful knowledge about education could create a good future, good society. He thinks parents are the most important to the children, so early education helps children have a good foundation to create breakthroughs later. He and his associates at the Vietnamese Parents Group regularly organize sharing activities for parents in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City to help educate the parents in the Jewish people's way. Recently, Mr. Nashon joined with Viet Sinh Kindergarten to hold a talk sharing parenting experience. At this meeting, he pointed out the differences in the way of raising child of Vietnamese and Israeli, and proposed solutions to the psychological crisis when young children, especially for parents who first raise kids.
Tôi hiện tại là có 3 cháu, thì hiện tại có 2 cháu là sinh đôi 27 tháng thì đang học ở đây. Các cháu thì đang cái tuổi mới lớn, đâm ra là rất là nghịch ngợm và rất hay tranh giành đồ với nhau. Thậm chí nhiều khi mẹ rất là khó xử, không biết là làm như thế nào. Cách truyền đạt của bác rất là tức là rất dễ hiểu và thông tin thì cũng khá đầy đủ.
Many questions and situations are raised by fathers and mothers. With each question, a different issue is discussed, from which Nashon can help parents choose the best crisis resolution for children of different developmental ages. This knowledge is not only useful to parents, but also very helpful to teachers in the process of teaching children.
Thì hôm nay là rất là vinh dự mời bác Nashon về đây, thì chúng tôi cũng đã áp dụng được rất là nhiều và để cho áp dụng cho các cô để triển khai cho các cháu, và nhất là các phụ huynh cũng có đến trường ấy, thì cũng mong là phụ huynh áp dụng được để về truyền đạt lại cho con mình.
We know that you have been organizing some activities and discussions for Vietnamese parents to know about the Jewish way of education. So what are the feedbacks and also the reaction of parents toward this?
First, I touch a subject that is called communication. People don't really appreciate and don't understand that communication is the basic to transfer information. And if you don't have the right skills, you don't succeed to transfer what you want. So it's very important to be a professional with this skill of communication. So this is the first step I do with parents. I teach them and talk to them about communication. What is correct communication? How to perform communication? How you transfer idea from one person to another? We start with about 10 couples. It's the mother and the father together. I work with them on communication, and once I see that they gain skill, I even give them training to do at home, alone, together, and together with the kids. And once I see they accomplish good skills of communication, then we go up to another stage, how to encourage curiosity with your kids, how to teach your kids what is responsibility, how to teach your kid how to work with money. Money is a big factor in our life. how to make your kids more healthy, because if they're not healthy, they cannot be smart, they cannot work up the way in life. They will always get stuck in health. So you have to teach them how to keep always clean hands before eating and all kinds of habits that keep them healthy.
We all know that Jewish people have a very good way to train and educate their kids about money and finance. So when should we start this? And can you please share in detail about this approach?
So I always teach my kids to use wisely the money and to think before they spend. Stop for a minute, count 1, 2, 3, do I really need it or not? And I started with them with maybe 6, 7 years old. They want, Daddy, I want this one, I want this one. They don't really know what they want. And the colors and the sounds and everything in the shops attract them. So what I did is very simple. I just gave them money. Tell them, okay, here's $20 bill. Use it. So first time they spend it immediately. And then they want something else. I said, no, you finish your money. Then they learn that they can use the spending more wisely. And if they want to achieve more things, they have to shop wisely. The second thing I teach them is to bargain. If they want to buy something and they believe it's worth 20 and the seller wants 40, bargain. Because the no, you already have an answer. Maybe, but you can gain the yes. And if you don't bargain, you will stay with the no. But I think getting them involved with money decisions in their younger age is good. Even when you have a difficult financial situation at home and you are sitting with your wife or with your husband and thinking, oh, how we can finish the month? We don't have enough money. We need to pay for education, we need to pay for dentists, we need to buy food, we need to pay electricity. How will we do with all this with such a little income? I get the kids involved.
Based on your viewpoint, what should Vietnamese people do to improve the quality of raising kids and make it so effective?
I think you have to encourage kids to be curious. I see many times in schools that I visited that when the teacher comes to the class, he's like a god, and the pupils don't speak to him. So there is no really discussion, there is no ideas changing, there is no challenging. This is an old way. It used to be in Israel the same. If you look 30 or 40 years ago, it was quite similar. But with the demand of the modern world and the challenges and the desire of everybody to be a startupist and to be in a high tech, you have to change the way you think. And the teacher in the school and the school, the education, the way of education can contribute a lot to this change. And I know Vietnam is struggling very strongly to be involved. In order to be there, you have to encourage the kids to ask questions, to challenge their mind and to make them curious.
Thank you, Mr. Nashon, for all of your sharing today. We hope that you have more activities to help Vietnamese people, especially parents, to know more about the way of training the kids in Jewish way. That is the end of our program today. If you have any comment, please send email to us through sharingvietnam@netviettv.net. Thank you and see you next time.